you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
Sunsets and skies so blue, mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, then weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. We know it all.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Sunday, May 18th, 2025. Welcome back to the news program, folks. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania. For the hate wankers out there that think I live in the West Coast or in South Africa, you're idiots. Clearly not paying attention. It's amazing watching politicians who threaten me, who don't watch the videos, claiming I said something that was untrue, to the hate wankers who attack me, saying I said things that aren't true. They don't really watch the comments. They just relay what people... It just shows you just how amazingly stupid so many people on this planet are. They don't even watch the content. They just make comments comments about things they know nothing about. Welcome back to the program, folks. Whether you're a Neanderthal, a canine, or a right-wing podcaster, or even if you're a hate wanker, welcome to the program today. This is news and news only. If you want to ask questions about the refugee program, you're going to have to wait. I have an exclusive interview with the first ever South African Afrikaner refugee arriving in the United States. Thea van Staden will be on the program in a little under 2 hours, so you can tune in for that. But you're welcome to stay for the news as I analyze the news today, as I do each and every day, 7 days a week, when I'm not occupied otherwise. Tuesday, I will be out of the net. It's an election day here. I'm a judge of elections, and I'll spend my entire Tuesday from 5 a.m. until 11:30 at night doing elections on primary day. So I will not be doing any broadcast on that day, so you won't find any content from me. However, Wednesday, I'll be quite busy, what with Ramaphosa's visit to the United States. I'll be live broadcasting whatever press conference is covered on that. You can catch it right here on this program. Thanks to the 800 people currently watching. Francois Diego, thank you for the 14 super chat. Courtney McBride says, nice haircut, now shave the beard. Well, the hair was already cut. All I did was use some gel to put it up. So there you go. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Courtney. My apologies. Two apologies. The first one, I'm a little under the weather, actually very ill. I picked up another crud from South Africa before I left. Thank you, South Africa, for that second gift of illness. I hadn't been sick in like 3 years, and suddenly I've been sick twice in less than a month. Thank you for that parting gift. So I apologize. I'll try to cover the mic up if and when I cough or have to sneeze. In addition to that, thank you, a bit builder, for your 70 rand. Legendary rant. Well, yeah, my rants can be legendary. We'll see if I get one during the news or in the comments afterwards. Also, the second apology, there are a lot of people who are friends of mine in South Africa whom I did not get a chance to see during this trip, including among them our Herman Ruiz. I did not get to see him. I only saw David Ansara because he went to great efforts to come see me, and I'm grateful for that. I didn't see Ernst van Sale or Ernst Roots when I was there. A number of other less prominent South Africans who are friends I did not get to see. My apologies. It's simply a bridge too far at times. I went beyond the call of duty to see as many people as I possibly could. If you're wondering what shirt I'm wearing, it is a South African shirt from Stelli's, from Stellenbosch University, and it's the Maroon Kant. That's for the England rugby team. You know, the Vit Cunt. Welcome, the Vit Cunt. Sorry to hear about some lady in the chat who said she's been finding out that her husband's trying to get a H-2A visa for 4 years, only to discover that he's banging his landlord. Ouch, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear about that. It's very unfortunate, but does that mean you're free? I'm just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Sorry. I hope that wasn't inappropriate. Anyway, so let's get back to the news here, folks. Lots of news, as always, to talk about. Let's start off with Ramaphosa's trip to the United States on Wednesday. Lots of subscriptions coming in. Thank you all for subscribing right now. I'm going to turn the alert box off so we can do the news. All right, so yes, Melted Chewing Gum says, you can't say we didn't give you anything, but seriously, get well soon. Yes, he gave me 2 illnesses, but that's comes with the turf, folks. When it's shifting from summertime to wintertime, and you hug 2,000 different people, and you shake the hands of 4,000 or 5,000 people in the course of 4.5 weeks, you're bound to pick up something nasty. Nobody's fault, just the reality. Sam Casey just gave 14 rand super chat. Loves a maroon cunt shirt. Thank you so much for that. I couldn't resist. I had to buy the maroon cunt. Yes, after the whole Vit Cunt story with Bongi. All right, so folks, sorry you didn't make it to the PE meet and greet. We'll do it again sometime. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. That's what people are here for. If you want to talk refugee, you're going to have to hang around until after the news. So, 4 ministers will join President Ramaphosa on his U.S. trip to mend the relationship. Good luck with that, my friend. It ain't going to happen. That's a picture of those two in Davos. There's no way that's South Africa. Look at those trees and that snow. President Ramaphosa will be not breaking a sweat over his visit to the U.S., he'll lead a team of South African delegation in the U.S. to clear the air and discuss trade. There's no air to clear. Your air stinks, Cyril. It stinks badly. So he will take 4 ministers with him. That includes Parks Tau, Ronnie Lamola, John Steenhuisen, and Nshiveni Kumbudzu, the minister in the presidency. Only one of them is remotely credible, and that is Parks Tau. The rest of them are just a complete waste of time and oxygen, have no credibility. Of course, John Steenhuisen famously rubbishing the South Africans who fled South Africa with his shameful, disgraceful conduct, and doing everything he can to appear to be Cyril's boy at the neglect of his party, the Democratic Alliance, which has found itself being a willing accomplice in the destruction of South Africa with the establishment of the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, which discriminates against local education boards and prisons parents for children being truant. It also takes away the rights of first language from South Africans. That is all part and parcel of the arrival of the DA in the GNU. Not their fault, but they did nothing to fight it. They have no influence with Ramaphosa, or he wouldn't have signed it. In addition to that, they sit back quietly while the 3% black tax, a corporate extortion taking away from businesses, goes forward in motion as if it's going to become law, and they've said nothing about it. And they did nothing to stop expropriation without compensation being signed into law, showing you just how powerless the Democratic Alliance is under John Steenhuisen in the government of national unity. John Steenhuisen needs to crap or get off the pot, either be a minister in the cabinet or be the leader of your opposition party or your coalition party. You can't perform both functions, and you've proven it on a daily basis, John Steenhuisen. It's time to grow up here and be a man and stop hiding behind your cabinet position as your party languishes into irrelevance. That is what is happening. You've also got Dean McPherson apparently saying that nil compensation is a form of compensation. Did he really say that? I haven't seen that. I have to research that. I haven't had any time since I've landed. I've been very busy coordinating with refugees in the States, coordinating with people in South Africa, doing news reports, preparing videos, and setting up interviews. My own. I'm being interviewed later today. I'm interviewing someone else later today. I'm interviewing someone else after that. Oh. It's been quite a busy path. Also have to coordinate with my workers for the election day tonight. Got to do that as well. And when do I catch my breath? Anyway, let's get to it. Into the mouth of Trump hell. This is a disgusting article by Times Live's Lizika Tandwa. Government officials expect a robust and extremely difficult session for Ramaphosa in the Oval Office. And of course, they pick a very nasty photograph of Donald Trump. How about we pick a nasty photograph of the author? Wouldn't that be nice? Let's get a nasty picture of her so we can show that to the world. Oh, we just have a tiny picture of her, so we really can't blow that up. That's a shame. We'd love to blow that picture up and show people what you look like when you're not in the best of moods. President Ramaphosa is bracing for possible humiliating dressing down when he meets U.S. President Donald Trump in what is expected to be a confrontation over race policies and the claim of genocide against white South Africans. Well, when do we claim genocide is occurring in South Africa? When it's over? When people have been slaughtered? Is that when you occur? Is that when the murders begin en masse? Is that when you start? I've never claimed genocide in South Africa, but you do have to ask the question, at what point is it appropriate to start talking about it? Considering that 8 of the 10 steps have been achieved already in the ways that populations are victims of genocide, South Africans minorities have already faced 8 of those. So at what point do we start talking about it? Preferably before it happens. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice to talk about genocide before it happens to stop it from happening? Is Cyril walking into a Trump trap, says Peter Bruce, the editor-in-large, whom I was supposed to have a meeting with on Thursday morning, but was unable to schedule it because we had conflicts. President Ramaphosa will be taking the risk of his political life when he meets President Donald Trump on Wednesday. It'll be their first meeting since beginning Trump's second term. Yes. The Trump administration's verbal offensive reached a climax this past week as 59 refugees were picked up by an American plane in Johannesburg and flown to Dulles International Airport. They'll be granted U.S. citizenship. False. Ramaphosa, barely able to hide his contempt, called them cowards. So listen, Peter Bruce is an excellent commentator and writer, and I don't have any beef against him, but his story has some serious problems. Number one, none of them will be granted U.S. citizenship. That's bullshit. That's total fabrication. I don't know where you're getting that from, Mr. Bruce. It's a shame. I wish we'd had a chance to talk on Thursday, as we both tried to do, and then you would have not been misled by whoever told you that. They don't get granted citizenship. The president can't grant citizenship to them. They have to apply for it, and they have to wait 5 years before they're eligible to do it. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Unless they join the U.S. military, then after 3 years of honorable service, they can apply. You don't get granted citizenship by the president. It doesn't work that way. No, that's not in his purview. So they're not, even if he has it, he's not going to grant them that. Then there's other problems with this article, but it's a pretty balanced report, but it's factually incorrect about a number of things. And that's the problem. Even honest, legitimate journalists in South Africa get things wrong far too often. Far too often. It's very easy to figure out, whether Trump will grant citizenship because you have to know the law. And it's not very hard to know the law. You simply read it. It's very simple. South African soldiers remain trapped in Goma. Well, this story, I've talked about this, and the South African public has forgotten about them. They're still there. This in the city press. The promised buses that were supposed to transport South African soldiers out of Goma have not arrived. They're placing the blame on a lack of funds. Of course, there's no money because the military gets 0.7% of the GDP. I see Ronaldo's in the chat. If he behaves like an adult, he can stay. But if Ronaldo misbehaves and starts saying silly things tonight, he's going to get moored by one of my moderators. There's a warning for you, buddy. All right, half the military's equipment in Goma and Sake has already been transported by truck to Tanzania, but has not come back to South Africa. Has not come back to South Africa, folks. No. So your military is still trapped in Goma with unqualified soldiers who don't know how to react under fire. Trapped there by a government that spends no money and cares little. All the politicians who made hay in the DA, in the Freedom Front Plus, in other parties, in Action SA, when they found out those troops were stranded there because they'd ignored them in the EFF. Where are they at now? It's been 3 weeks since the story broke. Almost a month. And where are they at now? Where are they at now? Where are these politicians? You politicians squawk when it's politically convenient. Very few of them actually care about you or me. They do this for their own self-aggrandizement, self-enrichment, and craven political power. Most of them. There are some exceptions, but not many of them. And you had one in Ronaldo Khos, a legitimate politician who actually cared about people. And you saw what happened to him. He got rasooled by South Africa's media, unfortunately. Well, Times Live runs another story, the Sunday Times, the middle class trek to Trumpville. Another condescending scumbag leftist article here. This one by Hendrik Hanke. The white South Africans and the First Party refugees are a motley bunch with one unfortunate thing in common. And Hendrik Hanke speaks out of his ass here. He says some are farmers, some own successful businesses. At least one of them who touched down was English, but claims to identify as an Afrikaner. Well, first off, what does that have to do with the story? The refugee program is not for Afrikaners, Hendrik. Simple. This is your story on Sunday, 6 full days after the U.S. Embassy released the program, which has a page anybody that can read English could read, that says the program is not for Afrikaners. It's for Afrikaners and ethnic minorities. So whether he's English doesn't really matter, because that would make him an ethnic minority. Therefore, Hendrik, he is legitimately there. So why are you even bringing that up? Because you are misleading people with your leftist drivel. But the rest is right. Some are farmers, some are businessmen. All 59 passengers. Well done. You did get that correct. I'll give him credit for that. Yeah, left on a chartered plane. They have one thing in common. A misguided belief that they're fleeing from white genocide. Well, Hendrik Haneke, I will tell you have a misguided inference. You have a misguided inference. You are inferring that these people are fleeing white genocide. No. None of them went and said, I'm leaving the genocide. This is bullshit opinion disguised as news. Ladies and gentlemen, it says right there, news. A middle-class trek to Trumpville. News, not opinion. This senior reporter is full of crap. This is not news. This is opinion. His opinion is that they're all fleeing white genocide. That's freaking BS. It's total nonsense. You see how lying the news are? Do you see how dishonest they are? How misleading they are? He says it as if it's fact in a news story. A news story. It is not a news story. It's opinion. Everything here is opinion. This is what is wrong with the media. I don't know Hendrik Haneke from anybody. But this guy trashes all kinds of people. So he even quotes the Sunday Times talking about Earl Langdon, who foolishly spoke to the media, the New York Times, and now regrets it. Or excuse me, the BBC, now regrets it, as saying he identifies as an Afrikaner. He's English speaking. But his wife is from Afrikaans stock. Well, there you go. So what does that matter? Even if it was only for Afrikaners, we don't split nuclear families. So does Hendrik Haneke think that the way this works is I'm South African Afrikaans and I marry a colored lady? She has to stay along with my children because they're not Afrikaners? What kind of nonsense is that? We don't split nuclear families, genius. This is not news. This is propaganda. News, that's propaganda. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are curious, I am going to talk about the refugee program for just a moment since it's newsworthy and we're talking about that in the news. Are you ready for this? If you've not seen this page, then you're not following the news. If you've not seen this page, then you're lazy if you want to go to a program. All right? If you've not seen this page and you're a journalist in South Africa, you're a disgraceful fraud. Anybody who reports on the refugee program in South Africa should have read this page. But I'm going to make it easy for them because I know Newsroom Africa, I know that Mail and Guardian, I know that Daily Maverick, I know that News 24 and IOL are all watching this broadcast right now. By the way, hi guys, how you doing? If you write good stuff, I give you credit. I've done it. Solan Rao, I've given her credit many times. She's written some good stuff. If you guys write good stuff, I mentioned Peter Bruce, The Good Light, Peter Fabricius, The Good Light. If you're a legitimate journalist in South Africa, but if you're a cock prodder, I will call you out. Simple as that. Because you lie about me. Newsroom Africa has slandered me several times. Lied about me. Lied about what I said in my broadcast. So, if you cock prod, you'll be exposed. But if you're a good journalist and you report the facts, and if you keep your opinion to an opinion piece, then I'll treat you fairly. So, Refugee Admissions Program for South Africa. This is the zausembassy.gov website. Refugee Admissions Program for South Africa is May 12th, the day the program opened. To be eligible for resettlement consideration, individuals must meet all the following criteria. Must be a South African nationality and must be of Afrikaner ethnicity or be a member of a racial minority in South Africa and must be able to articulate a past experience of persecution or fear of future persecution. Where did it say farmer? Where did it say white? Where? By the way, folks, I'm in the process of getting the name and to confirm my sources, but I understand that amongst the 59 included a couple of colored folks who were on the flight. Has any news outlet reported that colored folks were on that flight? Not a single one. Not a single one of them have reported that colored folks were part of the first cohort of people going to the States. Why is that? Because it refutes their racist narrative that this is white people who are privileged. It refutes it. Interesting enough, Times Live now talks about not privileged white people, middle-class white people. But they try, Hendrik Haneke tries to tarnish them by saying, well, they're middle class, but they all have this false impression of genocide. No, the people I've talked to, not one of them have ever mentioned the word genocide. They've talked about being assaulted on their farms, being attacked multiple times, being attacked in their apartments, being denied jobs, being fired over a person who was unqualified because they were white. That's what they've told me. They haven't said anything about genocide. People are asking where the bugger off bunny is. He's right there. So, that is the actual site. Anyone that quotes anything else is full of rubbish, total rubbish. Well, South African Police Service has said that the Umlazi massacre was not random. It was targeted. Duh. Thank you for that insight, Saps. Thank God we pay you a salary for telling us the painfully obvious. 8 people were gunned down in Umlazi's Zama informal settlement in what police have confirmed was a targeted attack. As the manhunt continues, Ministry of Police insists the perpetrators will be brought to justice. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. 26,000 people murdered in South Africa a year and just a handful of convictions. And those people convicted for like 15 years and they're out in a number of years. Murdering people in South Africa costs virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. Cold snap, folks. Things are getting chilly as winter descends upon South Africa. Snow looming with gale force winds, bitter chill across South Africa. South African Weather Service says that issued a release for the weekend saying a cold front was expected to make landfall over the southwestern part of the country on Monday, resulting in wet, cold, windy conditions over the western parts of the Western Cape. Brr. In addition, freezing levels are expected to drop considerably, creating conditions favorable to some snowfall over high-lying areas and a general drop in temperatures. These icy conditions are expected to spread to the central and eastern parts of the country from Tuesday through Friday. Woo, getting chilly, folks. Getting chilly in South Africa. BitBuilder gave another 70 Rand super chat. Thank you for that very much. I appreciate that. So, Hout Bay Harbor. Wow, one of the most beautiful and iconic locations in the world. A place I once upon a time, 25 years ago, contemplated buying a home. I'm so glad I didn't. Is a disaster area, courtesy of the failed governance in the Western Cape. Hout Bay Harbor is a wreck. Give us action, not glossy plans, the fishermen say. Fishing communities in South Africa's small harbors face crumbling infrastructure and a shrinking future, and their frustration is palpable, says Don Pinnock. The smell of salt and diesel mingles with the stench of sewage in Hout Bay Harbor. Boats bob at their moorings, their hulls patched and stained. Several have sunk. Behind them, derelict buildings sag into disrepair, walkways crumble underfoot, and a collapsed section of the quay wall threatens to give way entirely. This is what greeted Ministry of Fisheries, Forestry, Fisheries, and Environment Dion George from the DA when he arrived on April 30th for his Fishing for Freedom in Bozo. So, raw sewage spilling into public walkways, broken lighting, leaving common areas in darkness, non-functional water, electricity service to the jetties, unsecured derelict buildings left open as squatters, collapsed quay walls, illegal traders intimidating customers, piles of uncollected waste, public toilets either shuttered or lacking basic supplies, and sunken vessels occupying critically needed berths. Need I say anything more? And who controls the Western Cape, ladies and gentlemen? Which party controls Hout Bay? Is it the EFF? Is it the ACDP? Is it MK? Is it the ANC? Who controls the Western Cape, this paradise of South Africa? Who's responsible for this gorgeous town that's falling apart? Who? Who, I ask? Anybody know the answer? I see nobody responding in chat. Which political party controls this? Do you know? Do you know who controls? Holden Caulfield, you're very fortunate. I nearly blocked you on the channel by mistake. I unblocked you. But you gave me a timeout for being a jerk. So you've been given a timeout for being a jerk. You in future will be blocked, Holden Caulfield, if you keep your nonsense. So the Democratic Alliance. That's right, the Democratic Alliance. The party, the genius party that's leading South Africa to a revolution. John Steenhuisen says we are just on the cusp of something great. What? Feces in the Bay? Is that what you're on? Are you on the cusp of feces in the Bay there, Johnny boy? The DA's John Steenhuisen? You know, the man who's Cyril's boy. You might as well turn in your DA membership card and get the ANC card today, Johnny boy. Yeah. There you go. There you go. So the Democratic Alliance is responsible for Hout Bay, and it's a crap hole. I know. I was there last year. I didn't go this year. It was already crumbling last year. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa can still save the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. Oh, stop, please, stop. Oh no, I can't. It's too funny. Okay, South Africa's automobile lobbying group, NAMSA, says that Ramaphosa can save AGOA. Guys, AGOA is dead. And even if AGOA is not dead, you're not going to be in it. South Africa has violated the terms and conditions of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. You do not respect property rights. There was no problem you solved by taking property rights away with expropriation without compensation. You are therefore ineligible for AGOA. And I've been telling you this since 2018. Finally, somebody's listening. Well, not the South African automotive industry. You're whistling past somebody. You think you can schmooze or bribe U.S. officials? It's not a policy, my friend. It's the law. The Africa Growth and Opportunity Act is a law that is for a period of 5 years and then it eclipses. After 25 years, the bill is set to eclipse on 30 September. It is now May 18th. June, July, August, September. You've got 4 months to get a bill through Congress. I'm not aware of a single bill being introduced to the House or the Senate that will renew AGOA. It's a bit late. And even if it does get sent by the House and Senate, will Trump even approve it? And even if Trump does approve it and renew AGOA for another 5 years, will it include South Africa? Highly unlikely, particularly after Wednesday's meeting with Ramaphosa. Things are not going to go pretty there, folks. So they're whistling past the cemetery. 141,000 jobs at risk, and they're lying to South Africa's workers. They're lying. Say, oh, we think AGOA is going to be saved. No, it's not. It's not. Your duty-free access to the U.S. market is over. And the fact that you've waited 6 weeks, government and national unity, before you even sent a representative to D.C. to negotiate a trade deal means you're going to get screwed with a 31% tariff in 6 weeks, unless a miracle happens. There is no miracle on the horizon. At least 10 have been reportedly killed in a suicide bomb blast in Mogadishu. Suicide bombers targeted a quay of young recruits registering in a military base. Good Lord. That's the aftermath. Slippers. Several people have been reported killed in a suicide bombing at an army recruitment center in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. The attacker on Sunday targeted a queue of young recruits lining up outside the base, killing at least 10 people. Wow. Teenagers. Military captain who gave his name as Suleiman described the attack as seen it unfold. I was on the other side of the road, a speeding tuk-tuk stepped. A man alighted, ran into the queue, and then blew himself up. I saw 10 people dead. Jeez. That's just sad. Sad, folks. So sad. Hamas wanted to scupper the deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel. That's why they did the October 7th attack, folks. Top leaders of Palestinian Islamist group Hamas launched their October 7th attack in 2023, aiming to torpedo peace negotiations between Israel and Saudi Arabia, according to minutes of a high-level meeting in Gaza that Israeli military said it discovered in a tunnel beneath the enclave. Days before the assault that left nearly 1,200 dead, Yahya Sinwar, the chief, told fellow militants that an extraordinary act was required to derail the normalization talks that had said risk marginalize the Palestinian cause. So there you have it, folks. That's why they attacked. This nonsense from Palestinian activists and scumbags like Naledi Pandor and the ANC, that this was a result of Israeli oppression of the Palestinians. Of course, we've told you that's all rubbish to begin with. And there is the proof we expected to find. The Palestinians, as I said, Hamas wanted to stop the Abraham Accords. That's what this is all about from the very beginning. That's why the attack occurred when it did. So for those of you who said the Israelis orchestrated this, you guys are so full of crap, your eyes are brown. Hamas did this, as I said in 2023, to scupper the Abraham Accords, which Donald Trump negotiated and brought peace to the Middle East. Peace between Morocco and Israel. Peace between Israel and Sudan. Peace between Israel and the Emirates. Peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And Hamas didn't like that because nobody wanted to hear their crap anymore. Nobody cares about the Palestinians. If people cared about the Palestinians, there would be a bunch of Palestinians, not in Gaza, but in Egypt, in Tunisia, in Algeria, in Jordan, in Syria, right now. Right now. But they're not. They're in Gaza because nobody wants them, because they're nothing but troublemakers. That's what those people say. Well, Hamas's new leader is dead. Hamas's leader, Mohammed Sinwar's body found in a tunnel hit by Israeli IDF last week. Defense Minister says no official confirmation, but according to all indications, he died. A series of Israeli airstrikes last week killed Mohammed Sinwar, the de facto commander of Hamas. He was the younger brother of former leader Yahya Sinwar, who was killed in Gaza last October. The strikes reportedly killed Sinwar on Tuesday, targeted underground command compound below the European hospital where he was believed to have been sheltering. Once again, these are not legitimate military. They are terrorists. You cannot use a hospital as a command center. That's a violation of the rule of war. Once again, these terrorists in us, this is the people that the ANC supports. This is the people that Naledi Pandor congratulated for the rape and murder, beheading, dismemberment, torture of 1,200 citizens of the world on October 7th, 2023. These are the people that the ANC has failed to condemn. These are the people that the ANC is in bed with, including their friends in Tehran. This is why Ramaphosa is in deep kimchi. This is why South Africa is in trouble, not because of Donald Trump, but because of South Africa's actions, contrary to human good order and peace. These people who want no peace, who don't care who dies. The International Criminal Court's case against Benjamin Netanyahu is tainted. Number one, they have no jurisdiction. As I've said over and over, Israel is not a signatory to the Rome Statute. Neither is the Palestinian Authority. Therefore, there's no case here. However, the Wall Street Journal finally acted like a proper publication for once in a blue moon instead of a leftist hate-wanking rag that it's become, has an editorial today. Prosecutor Karim Khan used his anti-Israel animus to distract from his own behavior. International Criminal Court can't say it wasn't warned about its prosecutor, Karim Khan. In October, these columns urged The Hague to halt proceedings against Israel to investigate Mr. Khan's personal conduct and the role in his sudden decision to seek arrest warrants for Israeli leaders. But the ICC plowed ahead and issued the warrants, only for more testimony and other evidence about Khan to emerge. Now the court is hiding. It said on Friday that Mr. Khan has taken leave. He's accused by a subordinate of forcing sexual liaisons and then of pressuring her to disavow the allegations. Think about the Palestinian arrest warrants here, sir, according to her testimony. After he was told the allegations by American advisor Thomas Lynch and two other aides, Mr. Khan is alleged by whistleblowers to have replied that he'd have to resign before turning on a dime to warn the public the next day of a plot to disrupt his investigation. So Mr. Khan is a scumbag fraud, and he's been exposed as such in the International Criminal Court. And the International Criminal Court has violated its charter and has been exposed as a fraudulent body. Again and again and again. Trying to assert jurisdiction over Vladimir Putin, which he has no jurisdiction over. Neither Russia or Ukraine are signatories to the Rome Statute. Therefore, they have no authority. This is nonsense. This is what happens with leftists who try to take over the world. President Trump's peace deal with Syria is interesting. Officials across the U.S. government scrambled to implement Trump's surprise Syria announcement. When President Trump announced the lifting of U.S. sanctions on Syria during his trip to the Middle East this week, it marked a major policy shift that could reshape the region and triggered a scramble across the U.S. government to implement the decision, according to three sources familiar with the matter. Trump officials had for months been carrying out quiet engagements to pave the way for sanctions relief and for potential high-level engagement with the former jihadist-turned-interim Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa. But the announcement, sanctions would be lifted so swiftly, took some officials by surprise and pissed off Israel. So for all those people who claim that Trump's in the tank for Israel, Trump is in the tank for peace. That's what he's always been in the tank for. He believes in peace, not in conflict. And Trump is trying to negotiate peace. And therefore, he's lifting the sanctions against Syria, much to the chagrin of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. But nobody's reporting that in the press. Nobody's saying that Trump is going against Israel, because he is. Biden didn't go against Israel. They didn't lose any sleep over that. But they're calling Trump in the tank for Putin, in the tank for Israel. Yet he does things that harm Putin, and he does things that harm Israel. Interesting. Pope Leo, the first American pope, shocker for me. We got a pope. Wow. Maybe I'll start paying attention. Celebrates his inaugural mass as head of the Catholic Church. Tens of thousands came to St. Peter's Square to mark the official start of the pontificate of the first American to lead the Roman Catholic Church. Vice President J.D. Vance was among the dignitaries who attended. Congratulations to the first pontiff from the United States, Pope Leo the 14th, the first American pope. Wow, he was officially installed as a leader of 1.4 billion Roman Catholics. Maybe now the Catholic Church can get back on a solid footing instead of the nonsense that their Argentinian scumbag was putting the church on. Poland is voting in a tight presidential election. Foreign policy under Prime Minister Donald Tusk, LGBTQ rights, and abortion have been major issues on the campaign trail. Polls open at 7 a.m. today, and the results of the polls are expected to be released after they close at 9 p.m. which is coming up very soon in Poland. Very soon in Poland, folks. So we'll see what happens in Poland. Who's going to win? Could be decisive. Poland is a solid Western ally since the end of the communist era. Portugal is holding another election. Immigration and cost of living crisis on voters' minds as they head to the polling booths to elect the next government. Voting is underway in a general election in Portugal, the third in as many years, with immigration and cost of living hitting the center stage. Sunday's snap elections were called by Prime Minister Luis Montenegro, who leads the center-right Democratic Alliance. They lost a parliamentary vote of confidence in March, just a year into the minority government's term, something that the ANC will soon experience themselves the way things are going. Loss of election as a plurality party. They won't be around very long, it looks like. Romania also having an election. Of course, here famously, the court intervened illegally and eliminated a legitimate candidate who had the most votes. Romania's election, George Simeon and Nicusur Dan face off. Election could reshape the direction of the pro-EU and NATO member nation bordering war-torn Ukraine. Polls open at 7 a.m., of course, and will close at 9 p.m., which is 6 o'clock GMT. Hard-right nationalist George Simeon, who opposes military aid, decisively swept the first-round presidential elections, triggering a collapse of pro-Western coalition government that led to significant capital outflows. Centrist Bucharest Mayor Nicusur Dan, who has pledged to clamp down on corruption and is staunchly pro-Europe and NATO, is competing against him. He said Romania's support for Ukraine is vital for its own security against a growing Russian threat. Well, we will see now that the actual legitimate candidate is back in the race. Will he win, or will it be a fixed vote? Criminal! That's the word coming out of the mouth of Elton John. Sir Elton John, not happy about the UK easing copyright restrictions against artificial intelligence. Well, Sir Elton John, you were not there when I was being harassed for my own content, fraudulently claimed it was someone else's content that I generated. Now you care about AI? Yeah, because your gravy train is being attacked. Get that stupid earring out of your ear, buddy. Elton John accused the British government of committing theft by proposing that tech firms could train artificial intelligence models on the UK's music and creative output without guaranteeing proper recompense. Creative industries globally are grappling with the legal and ethical implications of AI models that produce their own work after being trained on existing material. So, if I generate a song, not Rocket Man, but Docket Man, are you going to come after me, Elton John? So, we'll see. Mexican Navy attacks America. No, not really, folks. The Mexican Navy training vessel struck the Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 crew members. This is insane. Check this out.
What happens on Thursday?
Okay, that's not right. That's not the video. We have to reload that. Wall Street Journal fed me another video that I didn't ask for. Here we go. So here we go. This is the video. Here you go. What happens on Thursday? This is a Mexican ship, which apparently is going backwards. You look where the stern and the bow are. He's going to go in the bridge. Watch this, because these idiots are too stupid to realize that you can't go under that bridge at that tide. Watch this. This is shocking.
What is going on? Oh, what?
They're going to hit this the side of the river. Look at that. Insanity. Unbelievable. Stupidity, folks. Let me turn off the music so I don't get a copyright thing in this. This is unbelievable. How stupid are these people? 2 crew members died and 2 in critical condition. How stupid do you have to be to sail a boat with masts like that into a bridge? Good Lord. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The stupidity of the Mexican Navy.
Lost, power of the ship and the current, mechanical function caused the ship to go right into the pillar of the bridge.
Wow, that's pretty stupid, folks. Well, that's the end of that ship for now. Yeah, lights didn't lose power. Exactly. Thank you very much. The lights didn't lose power, but the ship lost power. Very suspicious statement by New York Police Department there, Fire Department. Mexican Navy tall ship plowed into New York's Brooklyn Bridge Saturday evening, snapping its mast and killing 2 crew members. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said the crew members were in critical condition and 2 had died. Mexican Navy said 22 crew members had all been injured in the crash. The ARM Calcutamuk, a training vessel, had 277 crew on board and was making its way to Iceland after stopping New York South Street Seaport. People along the waterfront snapped photos as the ship drifted backwards towards the bridge, looking festive with huge Mexican flag and lights strung up in its tall mast. Wow. Unbelievable, folks. That's just unbelievable. So Mexico attacks the United States? No. They did attack the Brooklyn Bridge. It's outrageous, ladies and gentlemen. It's outrageous what the Canadians have done to America. Yes, that you banned American products from your shelves. U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra, former congressman, opens up about the U.S.-Canadian tensions, and he signals that he hopes from Prime Minister Mark Carney to change path here. He said, the ball's in your court. Yep. He said, he says he's feeling hurt by Canadians' ban of certain American products from the shelves in the wake of Trump's trade war and calls for annexation. It's an insult to us, he said. We have done anything like that. We've not done anything to the Canadians. We've not banned any of their crappy products, so why should they ban ours? So Canadians really just being obnoxious here. Yep. Well, the group behind the 2025 project that seems to have the leftists still in a tizzy plans to crush the pro-Palestinian movement, to which I say, yay, yay. Even before the President Trump was reelected, the Heritage Foundation, best known for Project 2025. No, it's not. No, it's not. The Heritage Foundation is not best known for Project 2025. They're Katie Baker. What planet are you on? The Heritage Foundation has been around for decades. They're well known for much. Project 2025 is just a recent development. They're not best known for that, you moron. Yes, they dispatched a team to Israel to meet with power players in Israeli politics, including the country's foreign minister and defense secretaries and U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee, who has just become the ambassador there. Courtney McBride, $100.99. Cannot imagine the USS Constitution crashing, or the Constellation, which sits in the harbor of Baltimore. Would never happen. This is what happens when people are incompetent. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent says that Moody's is lagging indicator after U.S. credit has been downgraded. Usina, £10 super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Thank you for the £10 super chat. Usina, very kind of you. So Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is basically stating the obvious. The Moody's didn't downgrade U.S. credit rating when Obama and when Biden piled on trillions of dollars of debt. Only now, when a small amount of debt has been added this year, during President Trump's first year under Biden's budget, are they now saying that our credit rating has been downgraded. This is political, and this is shameful on the part of Moody's. Yes, our credit is a problem because of the shameful Congress that keeps spending money like drunken sailors and not cutting back on benefits. But this move at this time is meant to harm the U.S. economy, make credit more expensive, and cripple President Trump's presidency. Moody's should be no longer followed as a legitimate credit agency because they're not. They're political actors. Simple as that. Why didn't they do this during Biden's time when it should have been done? When it should have been done. They didn't do it then. There's a reason why the interest rates went up by the central bank, because Biden was destroying our economy. And now Trump is restoring our economy, and they prematurely downgrade our credit. This is a disgrace, but this is what these people do. They are shocking, not in the least, because this is who they are. They expose themselves every single time they open their mouths. So here we go. Scott Bessent saying that's the case. I think Moody's is a lagging indicator. I think that's what everyone wants. Everyone thinks of credit agencies. Moody's ratings said last week the downgrade from AAA to AA1 reflects the increase over more than a decade in government debt and interest payments ratios to levels that are significantly higher than similarly rated sovereigns. Yeah, well, they were like that for the last 4 years, and you didn't do anything about it. Now you do it when Trump's president because you're frauds. You're frauds. California's EV standard, General Motors is pushing back. Good on them. General Motors is pushing hard to tank California's electric vehicle mandate. Senate to vote as early as next week on measure to revoke the state's emissions waiver. General Motors went all in electric cars. Now it's racing to reverse the nation's most aggressive EV mandate. We need your help, GM said in an email sent this week to thousands of white-collar employees. Emission standards that are not aligned with market realities pose a serious threat to our business by undermining consumer choice and vehicle affordability. 100%. We don't want these tiny little cars that are death traps. We want real cars. We want real cars. Real cars. Not this garbage little lawnmowers with hoods on it that you find like Suzuki Jimmys. Miners who lost their jobs. Now here's a story looking for a story that isn't a story. Does that make sense? A New York Times story looking for a story that isn't a story. They're complaining about miners losing their jobs. And they blame it on Trump and the sanctions or the tariffs. But the tariffs aren't in effect. And the jobs are lost in 2024, not in 2025. You see the frauds once again? These are the frauds in the media. The New York Times, a bunch of frauds. The miners who lost their jobs, but not their faith in Trump's tariffs. Why not? Because Trump's tariffs haven't had effect yet. With demand for steel down and trade war underway, miners in the Iron Range of Minnesota are feeling the hit, but they hope for better times. Yes. Demand for cars and other big-ticket metal-filled items slumped in 2024, a rough year for the industry. The steel manufacturer Cleveland Cliffs, which owns a mine where Mr. Bird works, reported a $483 million loss for the first 3 months of this year, which meant jobs were on the line. The first 3 months of this year, which would be based on orders placed in the last 3 months of last year. The first 3 months would be January, when Trump wasn't the president, February, March, when he was getting in office. His policies hadn't taken effect yet. So you see the scumbag frauds in the media. The New York Times trying to blame the joblessness for people in the iron industry in Minnesota on Donald Trump. But they admitted that 2024 was the year the economy took a downturn after lying to us and telling us that Bidenomics was working, after telling us we had the most robust and safest and best economy in the world. Did we really? The underlying fundamentals of our economy were in jeopardy all along, and now the truth is coming out, and they're blaming Trump for things that occurred in 2024 when he was fighting for his life in legal cases. Greta Hart, thank you for the 10 Rand super chat. Mr. B, thank you for your membership. I thought you were a member for. You are a member for. You're Galaxy. You've been there for a long time. Right. So, Mr. Bird is out of a job, not because of Trump, but because of Biden. But they're trying to blame Trump. You see how that works? Frauds, total frauds. Palm Springs Fertility Clinic was attacked in an act of domestic terrorism here in the United States, and these people should be hunted down and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. At least one person is dead and 4 others injured after an explosion outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs. Investigators have preliminarily identified the individual believed to be responsible for the explosion, a 25-year-old man from nearby city of 29 Palms. Officials believe the lone person killed in the explosion was likely responsible for the incident. Due to the condition of the deceased individual's remains after the explosion, forensic testing will be conducted to fully identify the suspect. Officials are also aware of a rambling audio recording posted online in which a man describes intentional attack in in vitro fertilization clinic, and they are working to determine whether it was associated with the incident. Wow, this is unbelievable. The agency's Joint Terrorism Task Force is working alongside the Palm Springs Police Department, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, describing the collaborative effort as one of their largest bombing investigations they've had in Southern California. The blast took place at 11 a.m. outside American Reproductive Centers in Palm Springs. Good Lord. Unbelievable. Why would you attack a fertility clinic? People are trying to reproduce. You're trying to grow the population. What kind of lunatic would do this? It's not an abortion clinic. It's not an abortion clinic. It's a reproduction clinic. Why would you attack that? Jean-Francois Crawford. Thank you for your membership. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you for that. So, Trump is doing exactly what I said manufacturers and or retailers will do. Remember I told you 3 scenarios for when tariffs are put in place. 3 scenarios. Let's do it this way. 3 scenarios. Number 1, the producer or the middleman or the retailer or wholesaler will eat the cost they'll each eat part of the cost along the way, absorbing some of that cost to keep the increase in prices down. Why would they do that? To retain market share. If you have 40% of a particular market, so say you sell these remotes, you're the only company, you have 40% of the marketplace, and you ship this and suddenly you've got a 31% tariff, well, that's a problem. So if you eat 5%, if the shipper eats 5%, if the wholesaler eats 5%, if the distributor eats 5%, and if the retailer eats 5%, then you don't have to raise the cost to consumers. If it's 10%, it's much easier. But the producers can absorb the cost in the short term to retain their market share, because retaining market share is more important than losing it. Losing it is very difficult to regain market share when people go to alternative goods. They stay there. They tend to stay there. You have to spend billions getting them back with advertising or discounts. So you absorb the cost. Prices don't go up for the consumer. Number 2, you absorb part of the cost and the consumer pays part of the increase, which keeps it lower and isn't as big an effect on the economy. Or number 3, the consumer absorbs all the cost. The media, the leftist media, the right media, all the people that think they were talking about in economics keep talking about Trump's tariffs and how it's a tax on the consumer. Well, only if the third event comes true, which isn't going to be the case in most situations. Now, Donald Trump has asked Walmart to absorb much of the cost of the increase from the tariffs. Why? Because Walmart sells most of the crap coming from overseas. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon said this week that some prices could rise because of tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. But Trump calls on Walmart to absorb tariffs rather than raise prices. Trump called over the weekend, admonished Walmart for warning that tariffs could force a price increase, urging the world's biggest retailer to simply absorb the consequences of his trade war. Trump wrote Walmart to stop trying to blame tariffs as a reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year. In its most recently completed fiscal year, Walmart reported operating income of $29.3 billion, a 4.4% margin on its revenue of $675 billion. So again, this is a situation where the producer or the retailer can absorb the cost. Excuse me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news for today. 53 minutes in, we have 1,300 people currently here. Be sure to hit the like button, 78 likes, a little bit of super chat revenues come in, and 22 new members. Thank you for that. Okay. All right, so why would you turn the notification on for the Thea interview but not all of my videos, Gio? Why is that? You don't like my other videos? All right, Madeline Furway, I will pray for you that you'll find in your heart to forgive him. Jesus wants reconciliation. Oh, he told me her husband who was wayward on her. Well, that's for her to decide. Okay, welcome to everybody in the chat. It's not possible for me to go back an hour and look at all the chats. So I'm going to go back a little ways and greet some of the people. And no, there's no slight intended for anybody here. So, Mr. QB, ship has sailed. Good evening, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Belinda Roberts, for becoming a member. They run separate generators for electricity. Big difference between losing power and losing electricity on a boat. Good point, Kobus. Good point. Good point. Fair point. Yep. Okay. Good evening, James Duvall. Welcome to you. Lynn G. Harris. You guys are tuning in at 12:49 saying hello. Thank you, Ali, for your membership. All right. Conrad Heldenhuis. Welcome to you. Wills, Annette Appel, Tractor Champ, Ali, Sai Curse Verhoeven. Jan van Driel is here. The real Wesley Smith. With the real Wesley Smith, please stand up. Please stand up. The ratings are made up from thin air anyway. That's true. Kobus Fundameva. Hope you're feeling better. I'm not, Tony. Feeling worse. Thank you. And here I am driving on, working my tail off all day long. Nathan Yatsa von Heinsberg. Welcome to you. 1,400 people in the stream and only 600 likes. Yeah, well, down to 1.3 and we're at 842. So interview is in 1 hour. Gerhard Laubse. Okay. Yeah, flu season. I brought it back with me. Lindy, how you doing there? Patches. Usina is back. Hey, Usina. Been around a long time. One of the OGs. Eric is here. Tractor Champ. And there's a super chat from Leovin. Leovin gave 70 Rand. Thank you for the news. I'm so glad to hear honest news again. Yes, and now I'm actually doing the news proper, not just a little bit of news, doing it like I normally do because I'm back in my studio. You like the shirt? Just can't keep your cont clean. The maroon cont. Yep. Okay. I saw one was ready to apply separate, but the case of family, they could all be applied for by head of family. Yes, you can apply in your own right if you have family issues with your spouse. Yep. Garrett Lauda says, I hope Mr. Trump has all the evidence of all the murdered farmers, including the 4 people and one elderly lady killed on their farm. Well, it's not just that, Garrett. It's beyond just the murders. It's not about farmers. It's just a part of the story. Light Rain has been here for years and often forgets to put the thumbs up, and we know that. It's because you're in leftist la-la land of Washington State. You're not a leftist, but you're out there in la-la land. Mr. B donated 70 Rand. Thank you for that. CB's here. CB, what's going on? What's going on? Madeline Fervay says thank you. Okay. Though IQ. Stephen Nordkey is here. Andre van Kran. Okay. Janie Bernard. We all need all the info. Thank you. But also a plan solution on how to help contribute. Contribute what, Julie? To what? What are you trying to contribute to? Robert Franklin Moore, Charles Van Olsen, the voice of reason. Why do these idiots keep referring to SAP's stats? Exactly, the SAP's. So speaking of which, I was contacted by a media outlet, a media reporter earlier, who was trying to get in touch with me. I said I would touch base with him when I got back home. I did. We had a video call, and this media reporter for one of the media outlets in South Africa said, we want to confirm what Thea had to say. I said, why? Well, it's important. There's another super chat. Thank you for that 35 Rand. Tinfoil Neanderthal. Thank you. Tinfoil Neanderthal. I like that. Why do you need to confirm it? It doesn't matter. It's not germane. She's here. It doesn't matter. It said, I have no say in her adjudication. We're not the investigators. We didn't decide that she got to become American. That's done and dusted. Now she has protection of the United States government. If she defrauded the U.S. government, that's an issue for the U.S. government, not for you, not for me, not for your media outlet. So it's done and dusted. Why do you need to confirm anything? There's no. What is this obsession with farms? Whether she has a farm or not isn't germane. Isn't germane. Whether she's an Afrikaner or not isn't germane. Why are they obsessed by this? Because they want a narrative. They want to distort and mislead people. Now, I'm not saying that journalist is, but I made the point to him. I said, why do you care? Well, because we can go to SAPS. We can go to SAPS. SAPS doesn't report most things. People call, they never come. Most crimes go unreported to SAPS because they don't show up, including farm attacks. So it really isn't germane. Why are you so hell-bent on proving that Thea is telling the truth? Because you're not. You're hell-bent on finding evidence that she's lying, which doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she's lying. Let's say that All the refugees came here under false pretenses. So what? What are you going to do about it? Rubbish them? That won't mean they go back to South Africa. Are you going to open a case against them in South Africa? They didn't lie to you. They lied to America. Doesn't matter. Get over it. Stop whining. Start fixing your broke-ass country. Take the energy you put in that and put it into fixing broken South Africa. Thank you for your membership. Steve Newbold has to go check an fence line. I never had to check on my fence. I was a farmer. Never once. I did check my fence periodically to make sure the grass hadn't grown into the electric fence, so it wouldn't be shorting it out. Otherwise, the cows get out. But never had to check my fence for intruders or murderers or rapists coming on my property. Never once. The whole time I was a farmer. There's no journalism. Most of them are scumbags. Yeah, the ones burning Teslas forget about climate change. Brother Louis says New York Times reason reminds him of his ex-wife. That's funny. I'm sorry Mr. B had bad times. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, are there trolls here and the mods are taking care of them? Thank you for that. Krista von Arda. Hello there, Colonel. Sandef soldiers still in Goma. Apparently, where were you at, Krista? I covered that during the news. The Hot Full Bikers is back. Question is, anyone else notice that a lot of USA is saying Ramaphosa is pronouncing PH phonetically correct? I don't know what you're talking about. Yolandi says there are lots tonight. What, trolls? The only one I knew about was Holden, and I took care of him. Ripple effects, Trump's new efforts start to materialize. The economy will be better for decades worldwide. Agreed. Tinfoil Neanderthal is just given 20 memberships, so I'm going to have to turn off the alert box because that's going to go crazy. Thank you for that. Right. Lorraine 888, hello to you. Bit Builder, when Ripple... Okay, so I read that. Steve Orkia says Trump to give tax breaks if people buy American-made, cheaper. Okay, that's good to hear. Okay. There are many river walks and endless coastal towns in both oceans. San Antonio Riverwalk is great. Yes, the Riverwalk in San Antonio is amazing, and when you're dying in the summer heat, it's the only place to go to relieve the heat. It's lovely. So tired of these people cleaning their mouths about South Africa and don't have a clue what's going on here. Yeah, no. Well, Corey, I'm frustrated by all these American broadcasters and analysts who don't know anything about South Africa, and they're all talkies if they know what they're talking about. They're just repeating the same things. All of them. All of them, and all the big names you know about. Not one of them has reached out to me. Not one of them has made an effort to contact me. Whatever. Whatever. I will continue to serve in silence. Wilhelm says the 2C TV reported the clinic was targeted because Trump promoted assistance to fertility. How does 2C TV know that? How does he know that as an Iranian living in the UK? How does he know that? Does he have evidence of it? Or is that his analysis? If that's his speculation, I'll accept it. But is there evidence of that? Or is he just making a claim, unfounded? Jacques Leon says, keep your mouth off my Jimmy. Hey, how you doing there? Well, you can have your Jimmy, man. I said the Suzuki little Jimmy is actually a pretty good car, but it's tiny, man. It's tiny. Truth is that we all want South Africa to work for our children, black and white. Politicians screwing us over. Yep. Faye wants us, can we warn DA's John Cena not to betray us? Well, he's already done that. He's already betrayed South Africans. Brahm, OG, welcome. What's going on, man? Rentia Shepard Kruger's back, side down. Just heard that Trump allocated 50,000 visas for South African refugee program. Where did you hear this at? Where did you hear this at? I see nothing here. Where are you getting this information from? That's fake news until I've seen something from it. Unless Trump has put that on the White House website, I'll check it out. Where did you hear it? Telling me you heard that means nothing unless you tell me where you heard it from. It means less than nothing. So executive action, May 16th is the last thing that he's taken. So it's 2 days ago. There's no mention of visas for folks from South Africa. Nope, that's fake news. Unless you've got some source that can back it up, Daniel. Okay. Skalk Lupska says, don't ask you, Colonel. They see us up. Well, I'm not South African. I'm an American. You should watch the debate between Tim Pool and Adam Conover. You can see how the average leftist and the gaslight with lies, typical behavior. I haven't seen that. Crime is the biggest problem in South Africa, education, rehabilitation for ex-criminals, homeless people with no opportunity. I think the politicians are the biggest issue in South Africa. The reason there's crime is because the politicians are cowards. Let's bury this. There's no disunity or bad blood between Chris. What are you guys talking about? Where's that coming from? You should call White House and tell them who you are and would like to assist. Flying Boar, thank you for the $5 super chat. Nice idea. Media guys pay the refugees for interviews? No, they don't, to my knowledge. Reddit says, hope you feel better soon. Chris Wyatt, what are you talking about? What bad blood? What is this? Did I miss something in the chat? Charles says, I never knew there's so many woke and stupid Americans. Well, there are. How do you think 42% of the electorate voted for Kamala Harris? Edging towards 90,000 subscribers, yeah. Doreen says, I don't know anyone in Germany. Well, what's Germany got to do with anything? Okamia says, Ron Poz will avoid talking about touchy issues just to make a deal with Trump to bring investments back. Yeah, well, Trump is probably well prepared for this meeting. Yes, Kathy, I've said you all are inured to the violence in South Africa. We drive out our farm gate. Myself and daughter and grandchildren have to lie down so it looks like it's only my husband driving. Exactly, Lizette. That's scary. Arctic gave 40 Rand. Mods are here and sober. Hey, good to see you're partly sober there, Mods. Okay. I fall asleep every night with a CCTV screen right next to my bed, and I check at least twice during the night. Yep, that's not normal. Can't believe some people are so blind. Well, I can, because they blame white people for the problems in South Africa, who were barely responsible for it. Yes, Tom, colors discriminate too. Yes, I'm well aware of that. That's why I called for them getting refugee status, and that's what they got. Fazil Gandhi says, I'm South African in descent. 30 years ago, I was too dark to him, too fair. How's that for a laugh? Well, Fazil Gandhi, if you don't want to be in South Africa anymore and you've been a victim of this stuff, apply to come to America. That'd be my recommendation. We got plenty of Indians here, not casino Indians, but subcontinent Indians, and you'd be one of them. But a South African, you're welcome to come. Yes, I have Pikachu over my shoulder. He's right back there. Tessa, how's it going? What's this going on with Ronaldo? I still don't see anything. I'm going way back. I see nothing about Ronaldo. Okay. Okay, I watched that already. Roxy Positive Energy, hate wanker leftists raging against capitalism on $1,200 iPhones, sipping oat milk lattes, rocking Marxist slogans made in Chinese factories. They scream oppression from their parents' Wi-Fi. Spot on. One of the people blame if all the whites are gone. Well, they'll blame somebody. Gideon's back. I'm so sick of this ex-land of mine. Okay. All right. I report a farm intrusion only once and nearly got arrested. Exactly. He just kept quiet. It's exactly psyching journeys. That's the point right there. Yep. Just want to show his thoughts on education and crime in South Africa. Okay. Been doing dishes and listening, says Helen of Troy. Hey, Colonel, it's Liz here. Sorry, not feeling well. No, I've only taken something to reduce inflammation. I'm taking no meds. Apologies, Colonel. I asked whether you and Ronaldo are fighting, maybe because you warned him earlier. Oh, okay, got you. Tinfoil only have. No. Okay, Ronaldo has taken liberties on his broadcast of late. I don't know why. He's acting like a child sometimes. He said some silly, stupid things about me that need to stop. I mean, it's childish and needs to stop. He means it in good fun, but it's not coming across that way. I've had several viewers complain to me about the things Ronaldo said. I have seen a couple of them, and I haven't said anything. But at this point, it just needs to stop. There's no fight between Ronaldo and I, though. None at all. Not that I'm aware of. But the juvenile behavior needs to stop. He's just getting a little too jovial. He probably had too many edibles, that's all. So no beef between us that I'm aware of. No beef between Byron and I, even though Byron apparently posted something that was ludicrous, claiming that I told people what they wanted to hear. That is bullshit. That's complete bullshit. I've never told anybody what they want to hear. In fact, a lot of people aren't happy with me because they don't like what I had to say. I mean, my rant about John Steenhuisen yesterday and his lies about South Africans saying they made a mistake, I used a fair amount of profanity, including the F-bomb several times, and several people complained about it. So, I mean, I'm obviously not telling people what they want to hear if people are complaining about what I said. Father was murdered a month ago. I was hijacked, and that was just the last straw. Good God, Yolanda. I had no idea. My thoughts and prayers to you that your father was murdered. That's horrific. So sorry to hear that, Yolanda. That is just unbelievable. So exactly, do we wait until the genocide kicks off in full measure before people do something about it to prevent it? No. Trump is taking steps to prevent a genocide. So all the protestations to the contrary, there is no genocide by John Steenhuisen, by Fikile Mabalula, by Paul Mashatile, by Cyril Ramaphosa really don't matter. Do you wait until people are murdered before you, oh, you're right, there's a genocide, now it's time to do something? No. You take concrete steps before it happens to help people. That's the bottom line. Ben Shapiro said the same thing against the leftist media this week. Same thing as what, Marius? What did I say? Jacques Lyons, no one's told me the hairstyle suits me. You're the first. Courtney McBride, I guess he sort of said it, but he told me to shave my beard. He was being cheeky. Carolyn says, this Bornmeister will come nursery. Well, thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that, but I can't get you a visa. That's beyond my purview. I run server farms. Does that count? Well, you mean like, did you wipe it like with a cloth? Fight just gave a super chat. You're being upset with John Steenhuisen was not unprovoked. About time someone said something. Well, apparently, after I did that yesterday, today, Neil DeBeer on Biz News also went off on John Steenhuisen, the DA. Yep. Oh, my goodness. I've applied, just working on my passport. Hopefully there will soon not be, what's this? I don't know what they're saying there. A lot of woke out there, but they won't silence or stop us. That's right, because, yeah, it's cool. I thought I'd become a member of the channel. Really hope the Iran nuclear deal works out. Okay. Trump's also working on an Iran deal, so, yep. Farlov is looking for division between you guys, so they're going to try to exploit the comments. Yeah, well, I mean, both of them have said things they shouldn't say. I'm not saying anything bad about either one of them, so, you know, there's something to exploit there, but they're not going to exploit it because I have no beef with them. All right, so, you know, hang on a second.
Now we got to go.
Yep, sorry. Turn the sound off because I was putting up. Sorry, I must have bumped it. So my bad. Anyway, so yeah, so Retha, how is Jordan doing? Sound's back, guys. Calm down. Sound's on. Calm down. Sound's on. It's on. I can verify that. Thank you for the heads up. I'm going to verify right now. Here you go. Here, sound's on. I'm going to verify right now. See, sound's on. All right. Sounds on to verify right now. See, problem is the cough, folks. I'm coughing and it's not good. That sound coming across the microphone. But yeah, you guys are a little bit behind. You're a little bit behind. So here we go. I'm going to caterwaul because I've missed this. I've missed this a lot. Let me get my other camera up. Where's the other camera? Let's get it up here. There it is. Ooh, there it is. All right, you guys ready for this? And I may have forgotten the words, so but you can forgive me because we're going to have fun with this. We are going to have fun with this. You guys ready for this? Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Get ready for this. I missed this the last month because I couldn't play it from South Africa. It just didn't work. So here we go. Oh, yeah, you know what it is. Here it is.
Going to show you how.
No, today we're not. Keep that advert to yourself. Tom McDonald, folks. It gets on all of us. Whoa. That was pretty epic. Man, I missed that. We lost a lot of viewers. Sorry to see you go. Really missed that. Wow. He is wonderful. His new album is amazing. All recorded and put out without a music label. All of his music, Sue, is without a music label. He does it all. Sharm Haralal, thank you for subscribing. Tom rocks. That's right. Tom McDonald does rock. I wish Tom would recognize me or see me sometime out there. I'd love to talk with him. America's Got Talent. Not with me, man. Love the Blue Bunny. That's right. This is the Bugger Off Bunny. That's a gift from Thea, who'll be on the program in 42 minutes. Let me just double check, see if I've heard from her. She said anything since I went online. What's this? Someone wrote to me. Oh, another person reached out to me here. Okay. Sorry. Okay, just checking some of my message here, folks. All right, so just checking. So, hey, the $1 million paycheck, Chantel Silliers. Wow, that's a nice paycheck. You can't cancel anyone. That's right. Flag to be proud of. That's right. The American flag. Don't fall for the tricks. Okay, Caroline will be back with her popcorn. Okay, good to hear that. Doretta Fundam Ava, welcome to Annette Williams Mays. Charles, welcome. Stinky the Squid is here. Mariska Fisser. I'm going to chat for a while, but I'll be listening, okay? I do try to put the facts out. That's been my ringtone since the song was released. Good ringtone. Was so lonely until I found this wide army. They can't count. Hey, thank you, Inkwell Odyssey. I'm so glad you found us. That's why I do this, folks. And it's really rewarding now to have larger audiences and more people getting the word and getting the message out there. Also, folks, it doesn't hurt when you watch my videos. I get a little bit of ad revenue. It all adds up. Thank you. Francois Diego, Colonel, I'm an American stuck in South Africa. Francois, I got you. Where's the baby Trump? You want the baby Trump again? We'll give you the baby Trump. What's this? Colonel and Tom to sing us a song. Yeah, you need to gargle with salt water. It really sounds, I know it does sound bad, doesn't it, Lizette? I know the sound's on. It was on intentionally. I love that. Yep, at 3 a.m. tomorrow, but love this, says Mike Filion. Well, you're going to miss the interview. Did you see the video of Raposa saying being white a supportive part? No, I didn't see that. I'd love to see that one. Cindy Oberholtz, thank you for all the time and effort you put in helping us, informing us. Yes, baby Trump is so damn funny and cute. Drink less Coke, which that's not the it's not Coke, Kimberly. Go to South Africa as often. That would be the answer. I wouldn't get sick. Don't hug everybody. Don't say hello to everybody. I probably won't get sick. Anyway, so Light Rain says you just saw it. All right, let me give you some baby Trump before we wrap up here, folks. Baby Trump coming your way. You ready for this? Here we go. Baby Trump. All 3 of the videos, and I think you're going to love it. I'm the problem. They say I'm the problem. No, Trump. No, you're not the problem, buddy. You're not the problem. They're the problem. Let me see if I can't get... Oh, there you go. Beware of old men in dangerous professions. Somebody made a Temu patch in China with my image on it. Check that out. Here we go. Baby Trump.
So now they're crying over toys. Toys made in China. They say tariffs will ruin Christmas. I say good. Maybe it's time your kids learn where things come from. Not everything shows up in a box with a smile. We gave China our factories. They gave us cheap junk. Now we take it back. And if a few kids miss out on plastic garbage this year, blame the deals you voted for. They say, I'm the problem. Really? You want to blame me for everything? Well, I'm not the one sitting on the sidelines complaining about life. You want change? You think the other guy can deliver? Give me a break. I'm the one who got things done. And trust me, you wouldn't want anyone else in charge. Good evening, America. Unless you're watching from California, then maybe not so good. Just kidding. Sort of, it's your favorite president, some say the best ever. And tonight, I've got a few things to say. So grab your popcorn, turn off the fake news, and let's talk about what's really going on. It's going to be good, really good.
So people also want to see the goat. We'll see if I can find the goat before we leave. Here we go. All right. So, yeah, the goat. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No, it's a fucking goat.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, gosh, the baby Trump ones are hilarious too, folks. I love those. Those are brilliant work. Whoever put those together over on TikTok, brilliant stuff there. Anyway. Oh my goodness. All right. So if you're worried about whether Trump knows what's going on in South Africa, I share the following post that Trump put on his Truth Social report. You ready for this? This is what Trump put on his Truth Social report just about a day or 2 days ago.
Shoot to kill Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible.
So Trump posted that on Truth Social. So if you think that Donald Trump is going to be hoodwinked by Cyril Ramaphosa's teddy bear stance and his approach on Wednesday, if you really think that Trump's going to be hoodwinked by that, I don't think so. I don't think so. Danny Barnard Garden boy told him to leave their house because it's not. No, that wasn't him. That was someone else. Danny Barnard sent me that. I'm in contact with Danny. He sent me something. So, okay, my microphone is down to like 20%, so I'm not sure what to tell you here. Okay, all right. People always complaining they can't hear me, so now people are complaining it's too high. So, let me see if I can take a look at the output there. I'll reduce that output there, about 87%. So, yes, Joyce Malema has supplied Trump with all the information he needs. It doesn't matter what Ramaphosa says, no matter whether Ramaphosa is on the green. Ramaphosa is going to go for the groen and the black and yellow cunt, and it's not going to work. Yeah, Charles, people can adjust their volumes. People buy new headphones tomorrow. It's funny. They buy new headphones tomorrow. Anyway, 1,200 people currently here and 1,065 likes. A little bit of super chat, Redmond. Thank you all so much for that on a Sunday. Next up, at the top of the next hour, is Thea van Staden, the first South African refugee to arrive in America and appear before the cameras. She sat down with me in Pretoria on Saturday, the 10th of May. Is it 10th? Yes. And we did an interview before she departed on the evening of the 11th of May. And I could have put that video up as soon as I finished editing it on Saturday and gotten 500,000 views because no one knew that they were leaving on Sunday. I could have done that. I could have exposed everybody. I could have put them all at risk. But that's not what a responsible person does, because this isn't about views. This isn't about ad revenue. This isn't about personal self-aggrandizement. This is about reporting factually what's going on and influencing the world with the truth, so they can make a judgment for themselves. So I held that interview, embargoed it until after I knew they landed in the States. Once I confirmed that plane had landed in the States, which I confirmed through multiple sources, including FlightAware, then I released the video. And consequently, it's only had 200,000 plus views when it could have had 500,000 on the first day and a half. But it's not about the views, folks. It's about informing people. Thea will be on the program coming up shortly. Also, later today, I'll be interviewing another refugee here in the United States. That will be done offline to give the person an opportunity. You won't see them on camera protecting their identity because of the shameful behavior of so many people in the media. Interviewing. I've just been contacted by yet another refugee while I'm sitting here. I just answered that in my chat. And so I will be talking to them potentially. And yet a fourth and fifth refugee want to talk to me because I treat people with respect and dignity, and I protect their personal privacy as best I can. So there you go, folks. Sad to see only John Cena's feet are sticking out of Ramaphosa's shadow. Thank you, Zach Tuck, for the 35 round super chat. All right, folks. We'll be back at the top of the hour. They're not heroes for what they've done. They're heroes for what they represent. Yes, and they're courageous. Contrary to the hippos, the Ramaphosa's comments that they're cowards, were the ANC members who fled to Harvard and Oxford, to London, to Paris, to New York, to Beijing, to Havana, to Berlin during the Cold War, were they cowards? I guess they were under Cyril Ramaphosa's description. Are 4-year-old infants cowards because their parents took them abroad? You're a disgusting, vile human being to say such things, my friend. Anyway, thank you all so much. We'll see you in about a half an hour. That's going to wrap it up for this program. Thank you so much, folks. 8,351 people tuned in, 1,226 currently with us. I hope you stick with us. It's not just about the refugees. I hope you stick with it because you like the program and you get something useful out of it. And normally I interact with the chat as much as possible. But today is news. We do the news first, then we interact, okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. All right, I need to go gargle with some salt and see what happens. Why are the refugees lining up again on the show? Why do you think, Andres? Because they're being misrepresented by the media. People are lying about them, and they want people to know. Why? What a silly question is that? I mean, I don't understand your question. Why are they lining up to get on the show? Is that really an honest question? Maybe they care about other people and they want people to know that it's real. So, I mean, I don't understand your question. Don't understand your question. All right, that's it. That's it. I'm going to do it from here. Cheers, everybody. See you shortly for the next broadcast. You know, I should link this. I never did that. Just take people there automatically because I'm so busy doing so many other things. So let me just do a customization, and there's customization, and you can go to the redirect to the other one, and there it is. Save it so you don't even have to reload it. You'll be automatically redirected when I end this broadcast to the on, which starts in about a half an hour. See you there. Got to go gargle. Got to go gargle. Man, I'm about to cough again. It sucks. Anyway, that is it. Where are my closing credits at here? I've been out of this studio for a while, so I'm back trying to find where all my stuff is. And there it is. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.